Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another adventure here on the Haven D&D Discord server. Tonight, we've got a special game for you, and we would like to start off by inviting you guys to join our games. We've got 4 active games going on the server. 2 are set within the world of Orland, and 1 is set inside the gateway. And then we have a new game that just started up not all that long ago. We welcome new players. So if you are new to D&D and are not quite sure how to play or are very little experience playing, don't feel scared to join a server like this. We've got a ton of experienced players and experienced DMs that are all willing to help you get going in D&D. So please hit that join link below our video on our YouTube channel. Get on the server, and we can get you going. We look forward to playing with you guys. So tonight, we are jumping back into our campaign, Orland, Episode 4, A New Threat. And I am joined with me tonight by my wonderful players. We have the sleepyhead Fenris.
What up, everybody?
We have the taco extraordinaire Serb.
Yo.
We have the pyromaniac Dutchy.
Hello.
We have the... I'm not sure how I want to describe him. We've got King Redead. There are many words that could be used to describe him.
Yes, several.
Some of them are actually pleasant.
Yeah, but that's a very small percentile.
we have the other one of the other mad scientists on the server, Ty, the Haven Master.
Hello, everybody.
And we have our very own homebrew extraordinaire, Mr. Tormy.
How's it going, everyone?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well,
Well,
okay.
We're all excited to get back going into this. So,
is ready.
as we dive back in, a brief recap. You all finished the adventure inside Jebulin's tower, where you found a trapped Jebulin behind a magical barrier. And after defeating the defense mechanisms that had been set up to run against you guys, you finally released Jebulin and a trapped Raiden, and found some interesting notes and interesting clues inside the chamber that they were trapped in, as well as an additional chamber. After deciding that it was no longer safe to stay and examine everything in the chamber for fear of being found by the potential owner of said chamber, you all decided to get the fuck out of Dodge, as one person so aptly put it. And Jebulin teleported you all back to Altessi, where you guys checked back into your favorite Heartleaf Inn, where your rooms were being kept for you by Gideon. And that is where we are going to pick up. You guys have rested overnight. You wake up, you're still rather sore. Your muscles are achy, especially Warren's, who took quite a beating throughout that adventure.
Quite a few blows to the head.
He shakes some rocks out of his ear.
He also notices the bloody fingertips that he has from where he tried prying a stone gargoyle's head off with his bare fingers, and not his hybrid form claws. So that's what
painful.
Yeah, you missed that one, Ty. He had a post concussion syndrome in that one.
Yep. I did it on purpose so that it made sense.
So that's where we're going to pick up. I am going to turn it back over to you, my players. You guys are waking up from a nice, long, restful evening. What are you guys doing from here?
The strongest. I need the strongest cup of coffee that this city can muster.
You're in your room, so are you saying that? Just saying that to yourself?
Yep. And then
Raiden
slowly
sitting.
Go.
Raiden is sitting down at the bar in the Heartleaf, pipe in one side of his mouth, and he's got a journal open. Because unlike the others, he is not experiencing a shit ton of being sore.
Yeah, that comes from trying to teleport and being trapped behind a barrier, smoking weed with Jebulin. There's a song to be written there. It goes something like, "I'll never smoke weed with Jebulin again," something like that. So Warren, you're heading downstairs. You see Raiden sitting at the table, smoking his pipe with a journal in hand. What are the rest of you guys gonna do?
Well, Max is just gonna kind of sit there in a position and kind of meditate a little bit and contemplate his life choices after almost drowning.
Sorla's coming out to get a cup of coffee and she is mumbling, and you can just tell she's fuming. And as she's sitting staring at the books in her hand, she finally just flings them across the room against the wall and is, "Son of a bitch!"
Okay.
Blink, blink, blink.
It's too not enough coffee in here for that level of volume. I think you need to. Let's get some coffee and let's spike it so that we can not have to deal with this morning.
She's just staring at the books.
Why? What?
Zeos, where you be at?
Nowhere to be found.
The sticky fingers going in, testing his security team.
You guys are in Altessi, not in.
Oh, we're not back yet.
Yeah, you're not back yet.
He went out early in the morning on his own.
All right. Max, are you still just meditating up in your room?
Yeah. And anyone who just walks by my door can just hear mumbling coming inside as I'm just talking to myself, going, "Why? I need a new job."
All right. Well, Gideon brings over several cups of coffee and gives Warren a wink as he says, "This was brewed especially for your group. You always seem to have a rough go whenever you come in."
Bless you. You beautiful man.
Keep talking to him like that, and you might end up with something extra happening in the middle of the night.
I don't think either one of us are the other's type.
That may be.
Do you guys order breakfast?
Ah,
Take a
I-
couple of sips of coffee first. What's the greasiest thing you got?
The greasiest thing?
Yeah,
Well, we
I've
could. What's that?
as he's rolling his shoulders, I've got some squeaky hinges here. I need to grease them up. It's the greasiest thing you got.
He looks at you. I don't think that the grease is gonna do it for you. Give me a sec. Let me go back and talk with the cook.
Oh, thank you.
After a little while, he brings out a plate for Warren, and it's got a big slab of a porterhouse steak with a side of eggs and bacon on it. Anything I can get the rest of you?
I think I'm fine this morning.
Sorla is
You
not
look-
registering anything.
He waves a hand in front of Sorla's face.
It was a hell of a night. If we need anything, we'll come up to the bar. Thank you.
He nods, and then he pipes up and says, "Oh, by the way, one of your companions left earlier this morning, hasn't returned, and I think another one of your companions is having a nervous breakdown upstairs. Just thought you might be interested."
Oh, fantastic.
Takes a big whiff of the steak in. Okay, everybody in this entire establishment has just gotten 1 point prettier to me, and just starts eating.
Is he just eating it with his bare hands, or is he using any utensils?
He's using utensils, but he's not making small cuts. He is like, how big a piece of meat can I fit in my mouth at one time?
Hmm.
Okay then.
I mean, if you really want to try to test the theory, stand across the room and open up. I can catapult it. No force, it should fit.
I'm trying to get as much as I possibly can, as fast as I can, not choke to death on it. But keep that in mind for any fuckery we need to deal with later.
Wouldn't that be something? Warren, after all you guys have been through, Warren dies by getting a piece of bone stuck in his throat.
That would be just absolute shit.
Sounds like something that would happen to one of Gingy's characters.
Yes.
All right. That's a different kind of bone.
He he gets a chicken bone caught in his throat. He dies. He gets to the afterlife, and all the gods are just like, "Really? After everything we've thrown at you, a chicken bone?"
Oh.
All right, so Warren, you get through almost all of your breakfast. You've gobbled up the steak all the way. You've just got a little bit of eggs and one strip of bacon left.
Raiden is going to close his journal, leave the bar grabbing his drink and head over to sit with the two of them.
Looks
Very
up,
funny.
gauges him, and just slides the last egg and slice of bacon plate over to him. You didn't get to do much, but you still need to eat.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
As he rolls
Just
his shoulders again, and the creaking's gone.
he takes his pipe out and sets it on the table. And then places the journal down on the table and slides it over to Sorla. New book to read?
Which journal is this?
The one you threw.
This is the one. No, this is his journal. The one he keeps his notes and stuff in. The
Oh.
one usually nobody else looks at.
She's gonna kind of give him a look, and I've reached the point where I'm afraid to read any journals because I'm afraid of what I'm going to read.
Oh. Well, unlike the ones that you found in your uncle's tower, that one isn't potentially secretly made by a stewing madman who masquerades himself as people's
It's
acquaintance.
not potential.
Eh,
I believe the words you're looking for are complete asshat.
well, that would be. And he picks up the strip of bacon and eats it. We've got a lot to discuss with Alex this morning. I don't think we should lollygag too much. Should I go up and check on Max, or would you prefer to, Warren?
I think it's. I think we need to get the group together.
No, I can only guess as to who Gideon was talking about taking off on their own this morning. But the others, I don't think have quite roused. So it's us, and as far as I know, Max is the only other one awake.
It's-
She'll pick up
If,
the journal that Raiden put down and start skimming it, and she's very distracted.
if
Anvir and
done with-
Kaylee slowly come walking down the stairs to get breakfast.
you want to stick down here, you want to run up.
I can run up. I've been up a little bit more than you. You still need time to finish your coffee and wake up. So Raiden's going to grab the pipe from the table and head upstairs towards Max's room.
You get up the stairs and you're now outside of Max's room. You hear a
He's gonna
faint.
stand.
You hear before you do anything else. You hear a almost sounding like a faint sobbing coming from inside, and
No.
you're able to tell that it's not really a sob. He's literally just talking to himself.
He's gonna stand there for a moment, like 5 seconds, and just listen. Relight the pipe. Okay, I think that's enough time. Knock, knock, knock.
He opens his door, and has a bit of disheveled hair, but other than that, everything else is just pristine. Because if you look at his hands, you can tell he's just been muttering to himself for like the last hour and a half that he's been awake and just polishing everything, all of his equipment. He goes, "Morning."
Morning. Raiden takes a moment and looks inside the room. You, having a rough start this morning?
I've had worse.
Uh,
Questioning some decisions as of late.
Fair enough. Seems a couple people have been in that same state of mind. Your armor and stuff looks good. You may want to do something with the mop on top of your head. Looks like you tried to sleep in your helmet upside down.
He just kind of runs his hand over his head, and as he's doing that, he just kind of uses prestidigitation, and then it just looks like absolute pinnacle of perfection for him.
A wee bit better. Maybe don't try to be so perfect all the time. Well, anyway, we're getting together. You ready to go?
Turns around, walks over to his bedside table, picks up his sword, and wraps it around his waist, and says, "Let's go."
Alrighty then. Back downstairs we go.
Do 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 do. Back down the stairs we go.
That was terrible.
It
Sorry, I'm an
sounded
elf, not
better
a
in
dwarf.
my head.
And that's where it should have stayed.
There's a lot of things that should have stayed.
No weird shaming here, Jeb.
It's not weird shaming, it's tie shaming. There's a difference.
There's a lot of ideas that should have stayed in my head, and yet most of them have come to fruition in our games.
Like
Fucked up family
like
trees.
the big ball of donkey ass.
The big ball of donkey ass that, by the way, Seraphine found out she's now related to.
All right, so you guys are all back downstairs except for Mr. Sticky Fingers.
As he's approaching everybody, he just says, "Morning, everyone. Apologies for the late start."
Trust me, I think we all needed some extra time.
Yeah, the
Jesus.
events of yesterday were not peak for what we're accustomed to. Although it's just more answers to questions that keep popping up. More questions that need answering that keep popping up.
Really, they're the same thing.
Oh,
Kaylee and Anvir bring their breakfast over and sit down with you guys.
Will be just a moment. And he gets up and he takes his dishes up to the bar, asks for a refill on the coffee.
Gideon chuckles. Are you sure you don't want a refill on the steak? You kind of wolfed that down.
If I eat any more,
idiot.
if I eat any more, there will be other problems. But I appreciate it.
He just kind of raises his eyebrows. Oh, suit yourself. He refills refills the coffee for you.
He takes that big whiff of the coffee in front of him. This place gets prettier every time. And goes back to the table.
You hear Gideon mutter, I don't know if I should be afraid of that comment or not.
As he's walking away, neither you nor anybody under your employ nor the building are my type. You're safe.
Ah,
Pretty sure
So-
Warren just said he's got a girlfriend named Palmela.
Good lord.
Anywho,
Jesus, Jim.
So basically, they're sitting. Sorla is. She's sitting there with like the nervous knee bounce, staring at the books that she threw.
Max, noticing this, just kind of goes, "You're gonna have to read them eventually.
Oh, I read them.
You're gonna have to share eventually." And judging by the tick, I'm assuming it's not anything fun.
Raiden is actually going to collect the 2 journals that were thrown across the room.
oh, she threw the journals across the room?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
Once you
didn't
first
catch
get
that.
down,
That was when
I
she
did
screamed.
not. Yeah, I did not catch that.
So he'll go pick him up, slip him into his cloak and into a bag hidden underneath, and head back to the others.
She's gonna
So shall
kind of sigh and hold her hand out. I need to read passages from there. You
Oh.
need to know. You all need to know.
Well, okay. He will pull the 2 out and hand them back. As if you happen to throw them again. Away from those of us with faces above the table.
She is going to take them and flip them open. Sorry, give me a minute. And she's going to read a few entries. I'm just going to read this verbatim, Jed.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
That's why I gave it to you.
There's some things that I confirmed, some things I uncovered, and some things I'm going to have to let you all know. She's flipping through and she finds the first journal entry. I finally finished the security measures. I must say, even I am impressed with my work. And that is saying something, which I know is very hard to do, but I did it. Should some poor, unfortunate souls somehow find their way into my complex, they will find themselves up against Bob. I don't expect many to survive Bob's greeting, but if they somehow manage to do so, I've made it so the hallways will either flood or collapse to prevent them from exploring any further. And if they manage to make their way to my library, they'll come up against my most brilliant stroke of genius. I stashed a couple of my favorite gargoyles there, and I've made sure that all my research will be wiped from the books. Nobody will steal my research. My gargoyle friend should keep them in the room, while the white fog will finish them off. I impress even myself. Then she flips down.
Oh,
Mm.
god damn it.
I have decided to relocate. My current tower has served its purpose. My new tower sits atop of a ley line and will serve my purposes better. I will have to remember to keep my complex connected to this tower until I get my portal set up in the new tower. Third entry. My new tower is set up. The ley line has been a wonderful tool. Plus, my boys seem to like the new location far better. And then she kind of gets a look on her face and reads the next entry. I've met a young scholar. She shows promise. I must keep an eye on her. The young scholar shows great promise, and she comes from good stock. I think I might have to see if she'd be willing. And she's got kind of like a seething expression. She clears her throat, looks at the group, and looks back at the page before reading the next entry. The young fireling has accepted my proposal. I am very glad. I hope one day that she can come to know the value of the true knowledge I believe she can. At least I hope she can. I do hate wasting time and resources on failed experiments. Then, skipping to the next entry. My former tower is now her uncle's tower, and it appears to still be linked with my complex. I came across this by accident. His research has provided a wonderful second perspective on things. I am excited to dive more into what he's been working on. I'm especially curious about his theory on the soul cycle. And she looks a little pained at that. The next entry, I am absolutely thrilled to have found this connection. His unfinished book on the 12 uses of dragon's blood has been especially insightful. Next entry, it appears that he is going to be taking an extended stay this time. I will not be able to use the connection to access his research. I will have to be careful that he doesn't accidentally find it. Fourth entry, my experiments to bring back Astara have seemingly failed every turn. No matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, no matter how many people I kill to use, I cannot seem to bring her back. It appears I'm going to be left with no choice. I'm going to have to perform the blood rite, but I'm going to have to team up with Vidar to do it. Fifth entry. Nobody seems to have taken the news very well, which is to be expected. I did play my part rather well. However, I find this may have put my sons at risk. I need to see if I can come up with an exit strategy. The next entry. Vidar has tasked me with this very specific and very difficult experiment. He thinks I'm doing it for him, but in reality I'm not. I have played my part well for him. I guess it helps being rather old friends. This has been very difficult to do, but I think I have finally found the right mixture to bring all 6 pieces together. I guess time will tell whether or not I succeed. I do hope that I do. This will be rather fun to witness. Vidar wants me to bring his son's body back. She kind of just looks at the group. He was awfully cross with me killing him in the first place. I know I need to make a trip to Altessi to bring his body back. Next entry. Vidar has revived his boy. He now seems bent on bringing him back into the fold, as if he never left Vidar in the first place. I think it's a futile effort. Next entry. It has happened. Those wonderful fools accidentally released Istara. Now that she is back, things may finally go back to how they once were. This is where the fun begins. Next entry. Success. I have finally succeeded in combining the 5 different varieties with the host. It is amazing. It is powerful. It would reap havoc across the continent. I have outdone myself yet again. And the final entry. Istara has plans. She wants to find out more about Vidar's children. And she wants the fools to believe that I was corrupted and that there is hope to revive me through a ritual. The plan is very intricate, but she is adamant that Vidar not succeed in converting his son to his cause. Should Vidar succeed in draining another god's divine power through another blood rite, he will be more powerful than Pathos, and that poses a threat to Astara's plans. It's bad enough that he is as powerful as Pathos after 4 successful blood rites. And then she's just gonna put the books down and grit her teeth.
Well, that was ominous. Isaiah
Damn.
kind of is there, and he didn't notice.
Max just goes, "Oh, morning. That's a little unsettling." So, looking at Sorla, Max just says, "It's a lot to digest."
She kind of looks up.
And
Yes.
anybody have any ideas?
Kaylee says, I can understand why you looked like somebody killed your puppy.
She nods. He asked me to be his warlock. He offered to be my patron. I
Yes.
accepted.
I forgot Sorla hadn't told very many of them.
She hadn't told anybody. Nobody knew.
Oh, I thought Warren knew.
Mm-mm. Nobody knew.
We had left the room at the time. That wasn't. We weren't. We were at the game. We were not at the table.
Gotcha.
I thought he'd be a good teacher.
Well, it seems like many people have thought many things of him.
I mean, he would be a good teacher. It's just, is it knowledge you want to learn?
Well, at least he can teach one thing is what not to do.
Accurate.
It's pretty easy to. It's pretty easy to. Wrong accent. It's pretty easy to teach what not to do. It's much harder to teach what to do.
Anvir
Yes.
pipes up. It's also pretty easy to not know what the right thing or the wrong thing is at the time.
Well, we've got multiple issues now outside of me choosing the wrong patron. Apparently Vidar has children. And what does that mean?
He had sex.
I mean, he's got you there.
Here's Warren.
With very strict.
It's in the beans to Sorla.
Another thing that is interesting is he failed to release Istara, according to that journal. Who's the fools who released her?
Over the table, I think we found that out from Alex.
Did we?
No, we haven't, because as far as I know, the other party hasn't talked to Alex since then.
Yeah. You guys
Alex
have to talk to Alex.
Alex knew that Istara was released because obviously he would, being a god himself, would feel the presence, the shift in the divine energy, but he did not. I don't think he said anything to you guys that the other party released her. I think he explained that her being released was the result of the disconnect between your guys and the god, or your, like, everybody's connections to the gods.
Okay.
Max just kind of sits for a minute. I suppose I'm out of the loop. Who is Astara?
Do you want?
Mm.
Who do you want to answer that, and what level of detail? Because there is likely going to be some cussing.
Cliff notes, and it does not matter.
Just
Well, Istara is part of Pathos?
A very confused look crosses his face.
She's.
Come again?
They're two sides of one coin. And as far as we know, Pathos was the god that was in power, in control. And she was released, which caused all of the shifts in the energy that we felt and made our magics kind of wonky.
You see.
But it appears that it's so much more than that, according to these entries, and she's apparently got a minion doing her bidding, and
That's a
it just
scary thought.
all around doesn't seem to be a good thing.
You know, as I said, that's a scary thought, especially when one takes into consideration that, at least to my knowledge, he's her minion, as you so aptly put it, is quite possibly the most powerful spellcaster in existence. That's, mortal, but not. That makes sense.
Yes.
Well, we now have a pretty good idea as to what the blood right is.
But he's performed it 4 times, which makes me wonder on whom.
My guess is it's on himself. Given the context of the passages, the blood right
required?
is used to.
What's required? What
Hmm?
is required for the blood right?
Beats me.
I'd assume blood.
No, we read this, and I can't remember what it was. Jeb, what's the blood right information that we knew? It was in one of the books that we read, wasn't it?
No. The only reference that you guys had to the blood right prior to this was the note back from the very first session. The note that you guys found on the mercenary captain, basically telling them that failure is not an option. If you fail, the blood right waits. And then
So we know that
Alar,
there's some
and
kind
then
of a sacrifice.
right, and then Alar told you guys in session 2, didn't give you any information. Obviously, you'd see why now, but he said that the blood right must not happen at all costs.
So,
Because at
Jeb,
that point, 4 had already.
would
Yes, sir.
Zeos have run across anything about a blood right and his back alley dealings, or heard
Probably,
about it?
probably not, because the information regarding that has been highly concealed and guarded. So not any average, back alley thug would know what it is or have heard of it.
Would
Okay.
the would the Brotherhood have maybe had books on it, or maybe some of the masters knew?
No. This, like I said, this is
That's fair.
something this is something that it has been highly, highly guarded.
Figured. Just wanted to ask.
So,
So, what's our next course of action?
I think we go see Alex.
I agree. I think we need to find out more about this family tree and what connection Alar possibly has to Istara.
And then we should probably go back home and regroup.
Agreed.
But
Wait, we're going back to the keep.
we should probably go back to the keep, regroup after we get information, know what we're missing right now. Then you can test out the new troops, and I can make sure that all of the potions that I've been working on can be sifted and made, finalized, and everybody can get themselves comfortable for a day or two before we make our next step. But
Sounds fair enough. But
Alex,
the first step in
Alex
that is
is.
Alex.
Who wants to lead the way? Still
Uh,
picking pebbles out of my ears from yesterday.
So
Raiden
get
kind
it.
of holds out his hand to Sorla. Do you still have you finished with the my journal?
No, give me some time with it. I'll have it to you today, though.
Okay, fair enough. I keep a backup just in case, but just be careful not to let that one out of your sight.
Nods.
Well, if we're doing this, let's do this. And he heads over towards the door.
As you go to push out the door, you open it up and almost immediately get run into by another being. As you guys finish the short little stumble tussle that happened and straighten back up, you see him kind of dust off his pants and jacket, and you see a very young looking half elf. He's got short black hair and black eyes. He looks up and starts apologizing. I'm sorry, my lord. And then you see him stop, and you see his eyes go wide, and he goes, "Oh, I've been looking for you. I've got something I'm supposed to deliver. It's supposed to be your hands only. Let's see here." And you see
Oh,
him dig into his pack, and he pulls out a letter. This is for you.
I'll take it. Does it have any sender on it? Any seal?
Yes, it has. Uh, where my internet is being dumb. Uh, yes, so you see that it has a diamond in the center of it that has a spyglass up next to it, and you see what appear to be like crystal sparkles all around it.
Perfect. He is going to slip the letter into his person onto his person and nod to the young half elf. I've received the missive. Thank you.
She nods. Thank you. And he kind of holds out his hand a little hesitantly, like he's almost afraid to.
Do I really look that menacing? And I'll drop a platinum in his hand.
Jesus.
His eyes go really wide. Oh,
And get out of here before I change my mind.
yes, yes, sir. You see him take off.
Oh, by the way, Warren, here, you can have this back. And he'll hand you the heavy crossbow of warning back to you.
Thank you. Treat you well.
It definitely helped. Because I
Right.
wasn't doing any damage without it.
I wish I could use this thing more myself.
But you tend to be up there in the front with everything.
We rarely have enough people up front to have me back there.
Well, now that I have new short swords, I can actually be up in the front again.
Uh, maybe we can trade sometime. Let's get going.
Head up to the castle.
Okay. You guys are heading up to the castle. You guys are allowed through the gate on the other end of the drawbridge and make your way to the castle. You let a steward know that you're there to see Alex and make your way to the council room. After a moment, Alex appears at the door and enters. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. You're back a lot sooner than what you normally are. Please have a seat.
Circumstances deemed it fit that we express our return rather than taking the scenic route.
That's
He,
one way to put it.
he nods. I do hope you don't mind if we are joined by another. And he holds his hand out to the door, and you see Rybran walking through. He's he's not really limping, but you can see that he's kind of using a cane, and he still looks rather frail. Where once he was extremely muscular and broad shouldered, now it's almost like he's shrunken a little bit. You can see the skin kind of hanging off his face a little bit as the effects of the what you guys came to know as a poison, uh, a divine poison, actually had coursed through his body, took its toll on him.
Fine company.
Highness.
Good to see you back on your feet, sire.
If this is being on your feet, it's the best that I can do. I apologize. I don't move as fast as Alex does. I never did, but
I was
even
going
more
to
so
say,
now.
very few of us can move as fast as Alex does.
You see Alex chuckle a little bit. He takes his place at the head of the table and motions for you all to sit.
Raiden will take a seat.
Warren will take the seat that he took the first day.
Sorla's
Um,
just gonna uncomfortably sit. Like, just nervous energy.
Anvir and Kaylee both sit down, and Anvir seems a little uneasy, like you guys have seen him before anytime you've come to the castle. And Kaylee is her normal reserved self.
Sorla's going to pull the journals and lay them in front of her on the table with her hands kind of over them. We've got some information to relay.
Probably
Right.
some questions to ask after.
Alex has done his best to get me up to speed on the comings and goings since I was regretfully unable to fulfill my duties. So I do, again, sincerely apologize. Please proceed with the information you've uncovered.
Sorla will go through reading the different passages once again. When she's done, she'll close the books, quietly put them away, and then wait for them to respond.
Rybran responds first. That is a lot to take in.
While this is going on, Raiden isn't saying anything, but he's watching Alex and Rybran, just kind of studying their reactions.
Okay. Make 2 insight checks.
And I get to roll these at advantage. Woohoo! Okay. First one is a 24. Second one is a 27.
You're able to pick up that Rybran truly is indeed shocked by the revelations. Alex is a little shocked, but you can also kind of tell that he's not entirely surprised.
Fair enough.
Rybran turns again. I have known Alar for a very long time. I can't say that we've ever been dear friends, but I've always prided myself on being a good judge of character. And he kind of takes a side eye at Zeos before he continues. But I never would have guessed that Alar would have been doing the things that he's in that journal has said that he's done.
You're not the only one.
Are
Sorla
we
winces a little bit.
are we certain that it's Alar?
She looks up at him and nods. I'm the student he speaks of in his journal.
He looks at you and raises his eyebrows in a okay, that was unexpected kind of reaction. So go
Some
ahead.
of my concern now is what exactly has he done? And who has he done it to? And
How do we
what
stop
of this family tree and what could that potentially mean to the current events?
Who is he? Who is he?
Huh?
You said he. There that could
Alar.
be Alar, that could be Vidar.
No, the journal's about what Alar's done.
Okay.
She's saying like what exactly has he done and accomplished, and because he succeeded in something, and who did he experiment on?
Sadly, I don't know that we'll ever get the answers to the who has he experimented on.
Perhaps.
Oh, perhaps there's one thing that we can look into as to what he was working on in some manner or not. And Raiden is going to pull out. Let me pull this up one more time really quickly. Sorry for the pause, guys. Um, he will pull out 5 vials. The vials themselves are black, blue, green, red, and white. And he sets them on the table. In front of him. Using the time that I had in that little chamber with your uncle, Sorla. These are 5 vials of dragon's blood. And then he produces a 6th vial. And this one happens to be filled with Hydra blood. These were on the table in the room, but I didn't feel like discussing it there was appropriate.
Max's face just kind of goes just blank. That sounds terrifying.
Well, I figured they would be useful, so I gathered them.
Do you think he's creating some kind of a beast by combining bits of each?
Honestly, that is anyone's guess what he is doing with them. I don't know much as to the intricacies of playing with blood as much as, per se, some of our companions, and he looks to Warren.
Whose
But
eyes have not left those vials since you mentioned what they are.
but I figured if anybody could discern what he may be after in combining these 6 different types. And yes, just so you're aware, they are it is blood from dragons that the vials colors match. My guess is that the vials were colored to code the blood as to what type of dragon it came from. But I figured you and the Brotherhood would be probably one of the top ones to be able to figure out what he might be after in these 6 different types.
Sheb,
Hmm.
can I do a check to see if Sorla remembers reading anything that might be triggered by these in those books that they found?
You could do a history check.
Okay. I want to see if there's anything in the books, those old books that this rings with. Come on, open up.
The best way for me to put this. Does
Warren, go ahead and make a history check as well.
okay? The nat 2 is unhappy, but the nat 20 is useful. So 24.
Okay.
21.
Sorla.
21.
So Sorla, you don't recall seeing anything in any of the ancient textbooks that you recovered from Illyrium,
Okay.
but both you and Warren would recall reading that cross species experimentation is a thing. Warren, you know that there are some books at the keep at Care Dragmont that go into a little bit more depth of cross species experimentation, but nothing is really ringing a bell as far as what's in front of you.
I remember reading some things. I also remember that dragons are so steeped in magic that it's inevitable that their blood is useful for all kinds of things. But I think I might have to go back to Dragmont to dig up the books. Maybe talk to some of the masters, see if they have any insight.
You could get a Nari to take you there and back to the keep.
Hmm.
Probably gonna ask about that. Anybody
No.
seen where they are?
She's right there. She's been with us the whole time.
I have just been paying attention to the threats a little too much to forget that she's standing at the back at almost all times.
Over the table, yeah, I kind of forgot that she was with the group too.
Okay.
You're the one that took her with us
I
because
I,
we
real,
pulled
I,
her out
realized,
of the palace.
I realize that now.
Point taken. Yeah, when we're done here, I'll ask her if she can take me there, and I'll meet you back at the keep.
Raiden will stand up and walk the 6 vials over to Warren and hand them to him.
I'll take them one by one and carefully put them into his own bag.
Now,
what-
as
Is this
go
what
ahead.
you just got this morning, or no? You said that's.
No, I found those in the room.
Pulls
That
another
Man,
piece of stone out of his ear.
yeah, man, you are still messed up from yesterday.
as
At
he's
least,
walking
at
as he's walking
least we
back to
took
his. Go ahead.
At least we took out his favorite gargoyles.
And his
As he's
other
walking
favorite toy.
Yeah.
Yes, that golem was interesting.
What are you gonna do with all the scrap that you got from that?
I have ideas. There were watching you all fight it was entertaining. Um stressful at certain circumstances, but its properties seem to be something that might be made useful. But as he walks back to his seat, he looks to Alex and Rybran. In one of the passages that Sorla read, said that a group of fools had released Astara. Do you know anything about that?
Alex kind of puts his hand to his forehead and his eyebrows and start massaging. Yeah, I do.
Well, who was it?
Is it anybody that we know?
Oh yes.
Oh
Oh
god.
oh yes.
Oh boy.
It was Thorin, Saravine, Drakery, that group that allowed themselves to be conned into releasing her.
Hey, to be fair, you can't blame Drackery. He said cast mending.
As a whole, the group as a whole.
Thorin wasn't there for that either. But I'm
Well,
giving you shit.
neither was Philly. Neither was Philly because Philly's body was, in the process of being stolen.
Philly's not saying shit. Philly's in a world of shit already.
That's a conversation for another time.
Why doesn't anybody ever think to question the questions? Oh, okay. So
Sorla's
that
gonna.
lot.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorla's gonna give Alex a look. You've been around a while. Do you know the family tree?
There are many family trees. Everybody has one. You're
She's
going to
gonna
have to be a
point
little
at.
more specific.
She's gonna point at the journal. Vidar and his children.
You see his face kind of grow long. This was more of a recent revelation and had nothing to do with me being around a long time, which, by the way, thank you for calling me old. It was a very polite way of calling me old, but it's still calling me old.
She shrugs her shoulders. Old is relative. You're a god. How old are you amongst other gods?
Fair point. So yes, Vidar has a son and a daughter. And these are
And
outside
letting,
outside
we're just letting these two walk around? Should they not be in chains, sealed up somewhere and out of public so no one gets hurt?
well, here's the thing. Vidar's son is Phileas.
Well, I'll be damned.
Vidar's daughter is Saravine.
Sorla's
I'm
just got like
assuming.
The
the
overbearing
furrowed
cleric.
brows that are.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Sorla's got that furrowed brow look like you just put a lot of information in my head that I've got to now file in my filing system kind of brow.
Max just has this look of just sheer consternation on his face, and he's like, the overbearing cleric of Pathos is the daughter of the one guy who wants to kill him more than anything? Well, there's
Yeah.
a twist.
It would appear so. Yes.
And I'm taking it some of this information wasn't known to them originally.
I don't know how much I should say. And for once, you actually see Alexander kind of stumbling a little bit here as he's caught in a spot that he's not used to being in, comfortability wise.
Alex, we can't do the job that you and the king have set before us without all the information and cards on the table. That is why we keep these regular check-ins.
As,
There's information you have, we need it.
as much as I don't feel like walking around knowing a bunch of divine secrets and things, I have to agree with Raiden. We need to know as much as possible. And he's just sitting there rubbing his eyebrows and his forehead. And you can just see he's starting to get very frustrated very quickly because he's running thoughts through his head of, I really did not pick the right profession.
He sighs, and you see his shoulders kind of slouch down a little bit, and he goes, very well. From what I gathered, Phileas knew the entire time. When he was very young, their village was attacked and destroyed. And Philly thought that his mom and sister had been killed in the massacre. Vidar arrived and saw the devastation, and he, to put it mildly, blew a gasket. He went off and took Phileas and began training him in some very cruel ways. How Saravine survived, I couldn't tell you. But it would appear that Saravine did indeed survive. And Phileas was sent on a mission that led him into Silvaria, where he ended up meeting back up with Saravine and chose to abandon his mission. And as he's saying this, Sorla, you recall some visions that you had many months ago, back in coincidentally in Alar's tower, where you saw the events that Alex just described about the the village being burnt to the ground, Vidar's pain and rage bursting forth. You before that, visions of him holding a baby daughter and his wife holding a baby son. You saw those moments, and that just comes flashing back before your eyes.
Hmm.
You just see Max kind of raise his hand as if he would like to say something but doesn't want to interrupt.
Alex nods to you.
So this is more a generalized question for you and your kind fellow gods, however you wish to put it. Did none of you think that the demi god, full god, not really sure how that works, with an anger issue shouldn't have someone keeping an eye on him?
Well, that appears to be a little bit of a tricky subject. And I, unfortunately, do not have the answers that you're seeking for that. You would have to speak with Pathos.
Oh, of course.
Can I roll an insight check on that?
Go ahead.
An 18.
As far as you can tell, he's being completely honest.
Okay.
Jeb, Max is doing the same thing. Never mind.
Max doesn't pick up on shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's so flustered right now. He's just like, nope, not paying attention to anything. He's just like, okay, this is what I'm being told. I'm just gonna deal with it.
Speaking.
Should we be concerned that the children of Adar will turn?
That's a valid question. What she said.
That is a very valid question.
Does anyone have a valid answer?
I have an idea, and think it's time we have another meeting with the other party.
Agreed.
Or at least getting close to that time.
Do we know where they are?
Alex nods. I will have to send word because they are currently not on the continent.
Interesting. Speaking of sending word, have you all informed the other parties that this no, backtrack. I think it'd be wise to inform the other parties that this new information involves those who, at some point or another, were close to Alar, should know of his backhanded dealings and secrets.
Speaking of that guy, what does he have to do with all of this? The Istara thing.
What is there to gain from Asara being back?
Fact.
and aside a very important but seemingly less important than that, what the fuck is the blood right, and what does it entail that it has given so much power to a god that they have risen to the same power as the one that started all this?
You do realize that that is a very charged question, and one that, under normal circumstances, I would be forbidden to reveal to you.
None of this is normal.
And you know it. That's why you
I am
said
inclined to
under
agree.
normal. That's why you said under normal circumstances.
Indeed.
Can we just talk about the fact that he just said under normal circumstances he'd be forbidden? How dangerous is this thing if you're not even normally allowed to talk about it?
I think
Okay.
that's part of the what
Let's answer one question at a time here. Alar. He's always been one that hates any sort of divine being having anything to do with the material plane.
and calling
He was
one down.
he was one of the few people that knew of my divinity. And he looks to Rybrand. Did you ever wonder why he never really came around the castle? Except on the rarest of occasions. The best guess that I have is that he believes that bringing Istara back will return Pathos back to his one true self, a true being of neutrality, back to how it was before he started interfering in the material plane. Alar wants to put an end to any divine being tampering with this plane of existence. That's the best guess that I can make.
If he succeeds, would that come to fruition then?
You see, make insight checks. Anybody who wishes.
I'm not. I haven't stopped watching this. So, ooh,
19.
20, 27.
Sorry, hold on.
I am. I'm holding on to my die.
15.
23.
Warren?
18.
Anybody who was over an 18. You can tell that, and that was not just because that was your role, Warren. I promise
know. I know. It's okay.
you can tell that in response to the question, is that something we should be worried about? You can tell that Alex is worried. I don't believe that bringing Astara back will solve any of the issues that Alar has with divine beings.
I see. He just kind of tucks his chin into his mouth and goes silent.
As for the blood right, and you can see he's kind of struggling with this. He puts his hands together. He presses his thumbs up against his eyebrows, and you see him massaging a little bit, and see him physically struggling with this. And then he starts speed talking. You do realize that this is something that I've been forbidden to talk about, and it's been so difficult, and I cannot even just. You've never seen this from Alex before. He's always been calm and content, and now you see
Raiden
him
just raises an
fluster.
eyebrow.
The blood right is a sacrificial ritual used to challenge another god. The ritual requires many, many mortal souls sacrificed in the ritual. Both divine beings have their divine powers drawn from them, making them mortal. Typically, it results in essentially a one-on-one fight to the death, with the winner taking the divine energy and all of the responsibilities of the loser.
And he succeeded in this 4 times.
Killed 4 gods.
You see Alex's eyes go big at the realization. I mean, he heard you read it before, but you can see the nervous look on his face again. This one is plain enough that anybody can see it.
Maxilin just looks up. Did no one think that being a thing was a bad idea? I mean, a god here and there challenging another god? Sure, whatever. It's all fun and games. But then the murderous lunatic with anger issues bigger than existence does it 4 times, is apparently strong as the god who made everything and could possibly kill said god to take over everything, and no one stops to think, let's not do that.
You do realize that this information is one of the most highly guarded subjects that Pathos has ever had.
Obviously not.
It might have been highly guarded, but it wasn't guarded from the right people.
There's always ways to find things. Find out things.
Sorla's mind's racing right now.
I'm pretty sure everybody's mind is racing right now.
I need to talk
So-
to my uncle.
Alex, sir, your godship, whatever title we should actually afford you. Is is, is there a way to stop it?
Once the ritual has begun, the only way to stop it is by killing one of the gods. In order to prevent it from happening,
So you're saying that we have to get him into this and then kill him. That's the only way we can kill him.
there are other ways that a god can be killed, but they are very, very rare.
Are we talking like truly killing him, or just killing whatever form they may be in at that given point in time, but their soul or what have you can come back?
Unfortunately, I am not the god of life and death. I don't have all the answers for you.
He just buries his head in his hands and sighs.
Raiden rubs the crest of his ring as he stays silent.
Is there a way that we can talk to? If you don't have the answers, is there a way that we can talk to somebody, obtain something that will have those answers? Do you happen to know a direction to point us in for that?
From the sounds of it, Warren, it sounds like the one who would have the answers is Pathos. So we have to talk to him, and I don't know how to summon a god, do you?
I know someone who does.
Max just kind of looks at Sorla. And who might that be?
The daughter of Adar.
We want to take that risk. What if she does end up turning, and we're all just stuck?
Doesn't change
Sitting
the
ducks.
fact that she's also Pathos' granddaughter.
Hmm.
And one of his biggest preachers.
True.
He just
Seems like that meeting is going to be more and more needed.
sighs for a minute. Well, as I've said before, you all lead the way, I will follow. I'm in this for the long haul. I might as well make
think we
some
need
use of myself.
I think we need to meet with my uncle. I think we need to relay this information to him because I believe it was his research that helped them to be able to perform these
Well,
rites.
given the warning I left your uncle with before we left, I'm assuming that he's in the process of clearing out his stuff from the tower.
I would hope so.
And he said he would be making his way back to Altesi. So there is that. I do
I need
think
to
that there are
research his
things that we.
notes. I need to know what exactly Alar took from him.
I think there are things that each of us avenues that need to be
Taken.
explored. Yes, thank you. And at a bit of a haste rather than drudging around to one than the other. I think we can.
Divide and conquer.
Yes, we've done it before. Sorla, you can seek out your uncle. Warren, hit the Brotherhood. Zayashi wanted to return to the keep to get to work with the hires. And I think I've got a bit of information collecting to do on my own, as long as avenues are available. By the way, Alex, did you happen to look into that Griffin thing for me?
I did. And unfortunately, right now, none of the Royal Griffins are up for sale. But I have a contact here in the city that deals in rare and exotic animals.
Fair enough.
I can get with
I
him
was
and have him reach out to you.
whenever seems best. I was just curious because I made a friend, and he is uh oh, okay. But since we're getting to a point where this is coming to a close, Brayden's gonna take out the letter he got earlier and open it up and read it to himself.
The letter says, "Come to my shop as soon as you get this. I was able to set up the meeting you requested."
Okay. Well, I think before we all go our separate ways, we should make one little detour. Warren, you were with me when I spoke with Lana before we left for the tower, or left for here the last time. I think this might do us a bit of good to see what information they were able to get for me.
Sounds like an idea.
Is there anything else, Rybran,
Rybran
Your
stands up.
Majesty?
I believe then that concludes this meeting. Alex does pipe up and say, "There is one other thing. I did reach out to see if I could find where Xavier is at Raiden,
Yes,
and I am still searching. He's not in Alinar anymore, I can tell you that."
very well. Just let me know as soon as you find him. I'd like to speak with him if that would be possible at that time.
He nods. Well, if there's nothing else, then I appreciate you bringing all this information to us. I believe there's a lot of disturbing events that may be about to unfold.
As I said, it might be a good idea to inform those who will be affected by this information.
Oh, yes, I will make sure that letters get sent out.
If you could. If you do end up getting wind of the other party, you see to it that we find a way to make a meeting between us.
Alex nods. As soon as they're back on the continent, yes.
Thank you. It's probably for the best for all of us.
Alex and Rybrand both stand up and bid you all farewell and begin leaving the room, signaling the end of the meeting.
You all up for a quick stop at a jeweler?
I think that's gonna be helpful, and then if Inari will come with me, I'm gonna head spread out. I'm not gonna stay the night.
Fair enough.
There's too much to go over now back at the back in Kedragmont.
I'm going to start heading that way if anybody wishes to come along.
Zeus will follow.
Anvir, Kaylee,
Okay.
and Inari all follow.
Max just goes with whomever.
I think we're all kind of going, and then
Splitting ways.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
After we get off of the after we leave the palace grounds completely, Zeus turns over to Raiden and says, "Do you need me to get a message to my spy network? You said you had investigating to do."
It might not be a bad idea, but at the moment, there seems to be a lot of questions that
Need
have.
answers.
Yes, but I'm not necessarily sure that the answers are going to come from anybody but those up on high.
Okay.
Anvir
Just let me know.
says, it wouldn't hurt at least reaching out. I mean, at this point, I say we leave no stone unturned.
pulls another rock out of his ear.
All right,
You
so
know,
you
one thing that we might be able to have your spies look into.
go ahead.
And she kind of gets a uncomfortable look. How far the missing peoples have, like, how widespread is it? I know that there was quite a few that went missing from Altessi, but I don't think that was the only location that people went missing from. And that might give us an idea of where Alar was picking off his sacrifices from.
Another question that rings true with that is if, unfortunately, we have to start thinking about whether or not either Alar had used them in his experiments or Vidar used them in one of the many blood rites he's concocted.
That might be something that we can have your people look into. Just what areas were their hunting grounds.
All right, I'll get a message out.
Okay. You guys are all talking about this as you're making your way down the street to Lana's jewelry shop. Do you guys go in?
Yeah.
Okay, you all go in and you see the attendants are a little shocked to see such a large group enter at one time, and you can kind of tell that they're a little nervous that this might be what's the word I'm looking for? This might
Hold on.
be a shakedown.
Aiden will approach the desk and hand the letter to one of the attendants. Lana's expecting me.
She reads the letter, sees the broken seal. She nods. Very well. Right this way.
Come on, guys. Follow.
Follow in.
You all walk in. She leads you to a rather large conference room that's empty. You all take seats at the table, and she closes the door behind you, leaves, and after a few minutes, she returns with Lana, who also is accompanied by a few other characters. You see a rather tall orc, thick with muscles. He's got a large scar across one eyebrow down onto one cheek and appears to be blind in that eye. He's got very large bottom teeth protruding up past his upper lip. He's got a very fierce look to him. Behind that, you see a very contrasting sight as you see a very short Kender walk in. And then behind that, you see a very how do I want to describe this? A very slender and very long, not long limbed, but longer, like long legs, long torso, uh, female walk in, appearing to be a human. She's got long silver hair that stretches down to the middle of her back. She's wearing a long uh, white traveling jacket and light brown pants with knee-high boots. And she's very beautiful. For those of you that are interested in the female form, she's a very beautiful woman. Lana walks in. I see that you got my message. I'm so glad that you were able to join. May
I
I
did, and sorry, I brought my companions with me. We just came back from the castle.
Oh, I hope that dealings were good up there.
Uh, we'll see.
May I have the pleasure of introducing my personal friend, Madame Magana. And you see the silver-haired female nod her head. It's so
Aiden bows his.
it's so wonderful to put physical faces to you all.
Aiden's just kind of sitting there with a smirk.
She sits down. So, and she has this really long, almost dreamy sound to her voice. What is it?
You're a clone.
What is it that you seek?
Knowledge and information that we that your services might be able to provide.
More knowledge and information than the journals you've recently acquired?
Very much so. Those are
Those have more questions than they do answers there.
Sorlo's kind
we
of
were
got a
hoping.
puzzled expression. Like, how does she know?
Oh, I apologize, guys. You guys, Madame here is a seer. I asked Lana to request her services so that we might be able to gain some knowledge by outside the box means.
She nods. I can certainly try.
It's a phrase we've heard a lot.
I would like to let you know that my services do not come cheap.
Oh, what is your price, milady?
$2,500 per reading is my standard price. For a group as large as this, I would say probably 5,000 would suffice.
Done. And Raiden will pull out the gold from his personal stash.
The orc clambers over and takes the gold from you. Very well. Shall we begin?
I think that'd be best.
She pulls out a crystal ball that's about 6 inches in diameter. The interior of the ball, you see nothing. She looks to the Kender. Tass, would you please be so kind as to get the lights, please?
Yeah, I've got no problem. I wasn't 100% paying attention when you described the room. How do I get the lights?
There's candles on the walls.
Okay. How high up on the walls are these candles? Because Kender are only 3 feet tall.
True.
I mean, I have no problem climbing up the wall. I just want to know how many times I have to do it.
We'll say climb up on the back of the orc's back, and he helps
And he
you.
just walks me around.
Yep, he walks you around and helps you.
All right, then yeah, I riding upon the shoulders of my large green friend, I proceed to blow out all the candles around. There you go, miss.
I completely thought I saw something on your spell list that would take care of that, so my bad.
I don't think I've got anything like that. I might. I'm still not 100% on all my stuff.
No worries. We'll just play it like that. You ride the orc around and dim about half the candles.
Yeah, I don't have anything that would let me.
Snuff.
Yeah, so I'll
She
just ride my working Cool amount.
Okay. She puts her hands on either side of the crystal ball, and you can see her kind of chanting under her breath a little bit. And as she does, you see a almost glitter-like substance fill the inside of the crystal ball and begin swirling around. As this happens, you see her head snap up. You see the silver irises that she had. Her eyes go completely white, and her voice changes. It's no longer a slow, dreamy voice, but a voice almost from beyond. The night will rise, and with it comes the death of the sun. The world will darken, and the turncloak will steal the sight. It will grant him his heart's desire and change his life forever. The dark night will stretch, vast and terrible, like giants descending upon the land. The giants shall make their homes in the cities of men and eat their fill of the livestock. The people will not know of peace until the night has ended. The great darkness will fall, engulfing all. Out of this shadow, the dark God will rise. The people will flock to his banner, desperate for deliverance from their demise. They will offer their firstborn and their wealth. They will build a great temple to their new God and worship him with every breath. Those who refuse the dark God will be devoured by right. He shall forge the blade of corruption, and the people of the land shall turn on each other. His black blade will be named in the numbers of crimson, and shall cast a terrible light on the dark God's vengeance. When vengeance triumphs, family shall become the key. The beast shall find its pack, a choice between one family or another. The scholar shall choose between blood and water. The brother shall be stuck in between. The dusk shall join his queen. There will be perilous little hope, and what little there is can be found in the one who has been eaten by darkness. Only he can know the God's secret. Only one who knows the secret can vanquish the dark and restore the light. As she finishes that last sentence, you see the candles begin to flicker. Her eyes slowly turn back from white into the silver eyes that you saw when she first came in. And she almost sags in the chair a little bit, panting ever so slightly.
Just kind of to himself, Max just goes, "Well, that's deeply unsettling."
I am terribly sorry. These things don't always come in clear answers. What am I hearing?
I think that she passed out.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm getting stuffy though.
did it sound like my snoring from last night, Tormy?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It's not. I'm awake.
Jeb, is that something you can post in in-game notes for us?
Yeah, because that has a lot more questions.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Hold on, my formatting doesn't stay the same, so
Okay.
Max is just like, yeah, I kind of don't want to know the clear answers to that specific prophecy, because just listening to it was rather unsettling and terrifying.
Magana looks to the Kender and she leans over to him and whispers something in his ear. She looks back after whispering to the Kender and after hearing his response. It appears your future is very complex.
We can say that again.
I believe that you may need some additional help. She looks to the Kender. This is Taz. He has been with me for quite a while. I believe he would make a great addition to your team if you would have him.
What
More
does
the
this family
merrier.
tree look like? What does this family tree look like?
Taz, I'll let you respond to that.
When you ask me what my family tree looks like, are you asking me who my parents are, or my grandparents, or my great grandparents? Pulls
I
out
mean,
a scroll from his one of the many pockets on his robe and unfurls it as it rolls through the ground. Or do you want? And he rifles through the scroll. Do you want my great great grandpa, my great 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 grandpa?
you're not like related to any of the gods, are you?
He begins combing through this very long scroll. About 30 seconds go by. Not that I can see, not anything close anyway.
Anvir, who the hell keeps their ancestry on them?
He's in the process of rolling his scroll back up. Scatterbrained people like me? And it's already disappeared back into his robe.
Well,
I guess
that
he's
was
coming back to the keep with me.
enlightening and terrifying at the same time.
Well, I do hate to do this, but as you might be able to guess, that took a lot out of me. I must retire.
Understandable.
She looks to Taz, puts a hand on his shoulder. Be safe, my friend.
He kind of just nods his head up and down. You too. Enjoy your retirement.
Thank you again.
I don't know about this party being the place to be safe.
You're not wrong there.
At
Her,
least,
her and the orc leave, leaving you in the room with Taz, the rest of your party, and Lana.
at least,
Raiden will
Lana
go ahead,
pipes up.
Warren.
Well, that was interesting.
mine was just a response to them saying not the safest group.
Mm.
At least he'll know when things have gone completely ass up, because we'll be right there.
You're not wrong. Lana, thank you again for setting that up.
She nods. It was my pleasure. Magana's a very old friend of mine.
Well, not many questions were answered. We did get some insight into what we can expect.
The shit to hit
Think
the
that-
fan?
Yes.
Oh
That's what
no,
it sounded like.
that's
This
already
There's-
started.
It's not hit the fan. It's hit the fan and it's splattered all over the room.
It's not just a single turd. It seems to be an
Volcano of explosive diarrhea.
just a stream.
It's Storm.
Just a steady stream of shit into.
A shitnado, yeah.
Yeah.
Max just kind of looks to the group and just says, "Well, at least we haven't started any apocalypses."
Yet.
Yeah.
You had to say it, didn't you?
Well, we have a lot to unpack and a lot to go over. Taz, looks like you'll be with us for a bit. That's
Hope you
honestly,
don't mind nearly dying.
that's honestly left me with less answers than I was looking for, so I think I might join you, Baron, on heading back to the keep.
Yeah, you mean Zeos?
Yeah, chaos. Eh,
Wrong
I
character.
didn't realize you somehow went to the gateway there,
yeah. Shush.
Raiden.
Some point, all the campaigns just start.
Blending.
Trust me,
Um,
it's worse when you're one of the DMs.
Yes, it
Yep.
is.
But
Yep.
we've um been given your name, but I guess quick introductions for the rest of us are due. I am Raiden. Um, these fine folk can introduce themselves.
Max just goes, I am Maxilin. Hello, you can call me Max.
He nods.
Sort of
You
fine.
see, go ahead.
She's gonna nod. Solar Firling.
You see the 6'11" tall winged tiefling nod to you, Anvir. And then the 6 foot tall elf, one of the three females in the group, says, "Hi, I'm Kaylee."
Grass nods at each of them in turn
And I am
as they
Zeus.
introduce themselves.
Now that all the fine folk are finished saying their piece, my name's Warren.
Inari pops up. Pops up. I kind of take offense to that. I'm fine. My name's Inari.
Why did I hear that in Moto's voice too?
I tried my best.
I
There
all
wasn't enough attitude in it to be Moto's voice.
Hey, I take offense to that, all right? Hi, my name's Moto. Or Inari.
Great. The side eye.
I'm wondering what the actual message she was typing before that was.
Right.
I am too. Well, you've all made your introductions. Are you guys leaving the city right away to head back to your guys' keep?
Yeah, I'm actually going to inquire with Lana about an item. But other than that, yes.
I'm simply Warren's gonna go. Nori, since we're that's the wrong accent again. Uh,
When you have 5 accents, no wait, you're a DM. You have 20 accents.
yeah.
Right.
Oi, Nori, you want to accompany me, help me get to knock on the Brotherhood's door, see what we can find out there while everybody else is heading home. Excellent.
Yes, she's like, yes, I definitely could. Although I would love to.
It's a good
All
thing
right.
you're not anywhere near Moto right now, because you'd be getting smacked.
Say it
I-
like you mean it, Deb.
I do have to warn you though, the vertigo can get pretty bad. Trust me, I've thrown up a lot.
So, should I be drinking before or after?
Depends on how much you want to throw up.
She said yes.
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 Alright then. I'm ready when you are. we head off while everybody else does their thing.
Okay, give me just 1 sec.
Okay.
They spin on the spot, and you see them disappear in a swirl of black feathers.
You know, over the table, thinking about it, with everything they've learned about Alar, I'm surprised she's still using that ring.
Zeos will go over and sweep the feathers into his bag.
Keep the feathers.
Um,
Don't ruin this for her, Tyler. So, all right, you guys make your preparations. You gather your horses. Those of you who had horses, you gather the cart.
Real quick, before as we're starting to head toward the stable, Zeus will say, "I'll see y'all at the stable," and he's gonna go quickly drop a note to his contact on the way to the stables.
Sorla's going to head to her
Would he
uncle's.
have a contact stationed in Altessi?
That was
It wasn't until just recently that Altessi that crime and corruption started seeping into Altessi due to Rybrand's poison. So I wanted to make sure.
No, he will not have. His contact will not be in Altessi, but he knows someone in Altessi who can get his contact the note.
Third party delivery.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
it specifically says in there, like, I can get it to him no matter what.
Gotcha. Okay. So you all gather up your things, gather up your mounts, your cart, and you make your way back to your keep in the southern part of the Altessi Kingdom. And that
Sorla was gonna go and meet up with her uncle.
she goes to her uncle's house and sees that has not returned yet. And then she remembers, oh, he did say it would take him about a week to get everything packed up.
And I thought he was supposed to stop by the keep when he got back to Altessi. Didn't he say something about that?
We gave
I
him.
offered. I
We offered.
the invitation.
That's right.
So, all right, you guys start traveling back to your keep, and that is where we are going to end things tonight. So, I do hope that you all enjoyed the game tonight and enjoyed playing your characters and the significant amount of lore drops that were put in tonight. The
Christ, man.
Fuck you too.
and this is the part for those of you watching. This is the part where all my players like to call me an asshole. So
It's not just you. You're not just solely to blame in this. There is another here. There is another here who is equally to blame.
Very true.
Hey, careful.
Hey, how you doing?
Anyway, thank you all so much for playing. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, please join the server, get in on the games, get in on helping us tell these stories together. We really look forward to playing with you guys on here. And yes, I said on here because I knew how you guys would take that. And
I was about to say.
Playing you.
I promise I promise it's a lot of fun. So, despite what these assholes might say. So thank you all again for watching. We look forward to seeing you on the server, and may the dice be with you.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.